Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Maya with Simply Bloom. Please excuse my hair today. I'm not sure. There's a lot going on. Okay, so today's video, you can probably tell by the title, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to talk about this, but I was diagnosed with skin cancer, melanoma skin cancer. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a health specialist, but from what I can understand, there's a few different types of skin cancers out there. Melanoma, that's the one you really don't want. So I was diagnosed with that beginning of May. Yeah, beginning of May. And the reason why I wasn't sure I wanted to talk about it is cancer affects everyone. We've all been affected, whether we've had it or family members have had it. It affects everyone. And I know a lot of people, I think, affects them harder than others. So my dad passed away from cancer. It's coming up to 2 years this October. And, you know, some people make it, some people don't. I was very fortunate because they caught mine at the earliest possible stage. And I don't want anyone to be like, well, you know, why did yours get caught so early and mine didn't, and now I'm having like all this treatment and all that stuff. But I just felt like I wanted to talk about this to spread awareness. To just spread awareness. A lot of people don't even think about skin cancer, especially all of us gardeners. We're outside in the sun all the time. You know, I have a history of skin cancer in my family, so I have always been very proactive about sunscreen. Going to the dermatologist, I highly recommend going to the dermatologist. I used to say once every year, and that's what I was doing once every year. Just call your dermatologist or make an appointment if you don't have one. And they're called skin checks. You just go in and they check you head to toe. It's so important. I had just had a skin check 6 months ago and everything was fine. And I think, okay, if I go on every year, it's great. Within 6 months, I had a mole that wasn't even there pop up and turn cancerous into melanoma. So where mine was actually on my foot between my toes. So if this is my foot, just imagine. This is my foot. It was on my third toe, like in the crack here, but underneath. So it was more so right here. So if I was looking on the bottom of my foot, I couldn't see it because it was right there. And looking on my top of my foot, I couldn't see it because it was like right there. You guys, I had just trimmed my toenails. I had just painted my toenails. Didn't see it. And I remember when I had my skin check 6 months ago, the dermatologist looked between all my toes, so it was not there. And my daughter, I was just laying on the bed and she just happened to be at the right angle and she's like, huh, look, you have a mole between your toes. And I'm like, what? No, I don't. Thinking it was just like dirt or something. And I looked and yeah, there it was. And I could tell the second I looked at it that it was not good. So luckily my husband had a dermatologist appointment coming up in like 3 days from when my daughter saw the mole. Could tell it wasn't good. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna tag along to your appointment. I know the dermatologist very well. She's incredible, amazing. So I tagged along to his appointment. He finished his appointment and I was like, hey, as long as I'm here, you know, I have a mole that popped up that's really concerning me. Do you want to look, can you look at it now, or do you want me to make an appointment and come back later? She's like, no, let's just look at you now. She looked at it, she's like, yeah, we're going to biopsy this. So she said the moles that pop up on your toes or on your feet have a higher risk of turning into melanoma. So keep that in mind. So if you have a mole pop up, it doesn't mean it's bad, but it has a higher chance of it turning bad. So she biopsied it. A couple of weeks later, I got my results, melanoma. So of course, melanoma, you never know how bad it is really or how far it's spread until you get to trying to remove it. So they could tell that it hadn't gone deep, which I was so thankful. So because it hadn't gone deep yet, caught it so early. There's a mosquito. Because it hadn't gone deep yet, they're like, it's not as concerning. It's still superficial, like surface level. It hasn't gone deep yet, so we're pretty sure we caught it at an early stage. So out of all the cases of melanoma, only 5% of them happen on the feet. And a lot of times, once they are found, a lot of times the doctor said it's not good. It's too late. Not too late, like, but it's not good because it's gone so long undetected. So he's like, the fact that you found yours that early is rare. So I'm calling that a miracle. How it was found, I was found that early. So a lot of times if you have a mole that's bad, the dermatologist will just remove it, cut out a section, a margin all around the mole that was found. And you just hope that you remove it all at once. My grandma, she had to go in a couple times. It kept removing, and they send it to pathology. They test the edges, and if there's any cancer cells on the edges of the pieces that they removed, then they go back in and cut more out. So I had that in the back of my head. Being that it was on the toe right here, there's not a whole lot of skin that they can remove. I did get to keep all my toes. I know that was everyone's question when they found out it was on my toe. Everyone was like, well, did you have to have your toe removed? Nope. Got to keep my toes. Thank you, Lord. So what they ended up doing was a dermatologist did not feel comfortable removing that. So they sent me to a foot specialist. They did have to put me asleep for the surgery because it was intense, you guys. I did not realize how, another mosquito. I did not realize how intense this surgery was going to be. So I sat down with my surgeon beforehand. I was so thankful I got to meet him first, and he was an incredible doctor. Incredible. I feel so fortunate that he got my case, I guess you could say. So you're discussing the different margins around the mole that he could take. So some dermatologists say, you know, 0.5 centimeter around the mole is sufficient enough to remove the melanoma if caught early. We weren't entirely sure how far it had spread. And then he said other dermatologists say 1 centimeter around the mole is sufficient. He said he normally likes to split the difference, do about 3/4 centimeter, and I just had my grandma in the back of my head. I'm like, I do not want to have to go through this again. There's a chance, he said, if you cut through the melanoma and you don't get it all, it just angers it, sets it on fire, and it spreads rapidly. I'm like, we don't want to do that. So I told him, take as much as you can just to be safe. So this is my toe. He ended up taking like 1/4, and he took the whole layer of skin all the way down. There's a layer of skin and then there's fat. So he took the whole layer of skin all the way down to the fat layer just to make sure he got all the melanoma that went down deep. And then he took about 1/4 size hunk of skin from my toe, you know, all the way around, because the mole was right there. He couldn't just close that up, you know, there's a hole that big on your toe, you can't just close that up. So then what he did is he had to do skin grafts. He called them skin flaps, but essentially it was a graft from the top of my foot. So he took one skin flap here from the top of my foot and he rotated it 90 degrees to cover, you know, the 1/4 size hole here on my toe. And then he had a hole here. So then he took another skin flap right down here, rotated that to cover this hole, and then from the hole here he was able to make a longer line and then close that section there and suture it. So I have sutures here, or they're out now, but I had stitches here and then stitches kind of here and then stitches going up my toe here. So from here to here, I had 16 stitches in my foot. I really thought about putting a picture of my foot up, but it's it's a lot. It's a lot. And he warned me after surgery. He came and talked to me, and he's like, you know, he warned me ahead of time. He's like, if I feel like I can just close it without doing skin flaps, I'll close it. But he's like, considering you want me to take as much as you do, he's like, there's a good chance I'll have to do a skin flap. We didn't know that he was going to do 2 skin flaps, but I just told him, do whatever you need to do to get this cancer. So he came and told me, he's like, there's a lot of stitches in your foot. And I had to do 2 skin flaps. So don't be alarmed once the bandages are changed. So I went back for a nurse visit 3 days after surgery. It's like, don't be alarmed when the bandages are changed. I'm just warning you, there's a lot going on. A lot going on. So anyways, like a week after surgery, I got my pathology results. I got all the cancer. I'm so blessed. I feel so blessed. Looking back, I can just see it like miracle after miracle of just, you know, because he said a lot of stuff happened that went very well that normally doesn't go that well. So when you do 2 large skin flaps like that big, he said sometimes the skin won't take. So the flesh that's cut and rotated will just die. So both of my skin flaps took. They're both the skin is reconnecting, it's growing, it's healing fine. So you said that fact that both of yours took, that's incredible. I've been healing very, very quickly. It's been a slow recovery with everything that's happened, but he said considering it's this short of time after surgery, he's like, this is incredible. So and just thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for just having this turn out. And that's why I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about this, because everyone gets affected by cancer. Some people were fortunate and we find it early, like my case. Other people, they don't find it early. And I'm so sorry if you're currently going through treatment. I know everyone's been affected. Like I said, my dad passed away from cancer. We've all been affected by cancer, and it's just a tough, but I did want to talk about mine, just share. I got my stitches out Friday. So all my videos that I have posted the last 2 weeks are ones that I recorded before my surgery. So I'm just getting back into the swing of things now. So I'm sorry if videos aren't coming out super fast. I still have a boot on my toe. I'm just starting to get into gardening, so I have it taped. I have a black surgical boot, and on the bottom of my foot, the incision didn't really go on the bottom of my foot, so it's not that hard to walk now. It was tough learning how to walk again afterwards, but because the incision goes there and it's still healing, I have some swelling still. I can't wear a normal shoe, so I'm still wearing my surgical boot, but as I'm going out to the garden, I don't want to get that dirty, or I don't want to get any dirt on the top of my foot. Like, my incision's healed, but it still looks rough. There's still a large scab, so I'm just wearing my boot and tying a few bags over it, so if like one bag rips, then the other one underneath it is still good to go. But yeah, you guys, I'm sorry, this video, I feel like I was just rambling on, but that's just what's going on in my life right now. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Just bear with me as I get back into the swing of things. My garden is a mess. I've been out for like the first 3 weeks of the gardening season. Weeds have taken over. I'm about to go work on my strawberry patch. Right now, I've been weeding it, laying straw down. So yeah, but anyways, I hope you all have a great day. Take care of yourself. Really pay attention. Us gardeners, we're outside all the time. So really protect yourself from the skin. If you don't cover up, invest in a good sunscreen. And I know sunscreens, it's hard because there's no regulations as what can go into sunscreen. So I know there's a lot of things that's not necessarily the best that's in sunscreen. So just do your research. I'm trying to currently find a good sunscreen. I think there's a brand that I'm going to try, but I don't want to talk about it until I try it first. So that is it. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.